Hey guys, it's Penelope in London, and what I want to do today is talk about Pluto in Aquarius. And the reason is that that's going to be happening for us in March 23rd, 2023, and Pluto is going to enter Aquarius. And then on June the 11th, 2023, Pluto is going to go retrograde, and then we'll go back into Capricorn in January 2024. And then on September the 2nd, 2024, we got another retrograde back into Capricorn, so it goes into Aquarius, back into Capricorn. And then on November the 19th, 2024, it's going to enter Aquarius and it's going to stay there for a good 20 years. So what I want to do is bring up a chart and look at when the last time Pluto was in Aquarius. So that would have been in 1778, and then I'm going to tell you some things that took place during that time. So what I'm doing is editing my date up here, because this current chart, you can see Pluto is in Capricorn, and it's conjunct at the moment Saturn, and it's also conjunct Jupiter. Pluto is birth, death, and transformation. And Pluto is where we basically transmute and we change. It's regeneration, it's transformative, and it's basically it's death, rebirth, and it's like Judgment Day. And that doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's like, you know, it's like where we say to ourselves, it's like our own ultimation, and where we begin to evolve something, or we're forced into evolving something. And it can give rise to obsessions and our convictions. At the dark end of the spectrum, it's where we have urges and possessiveness and the darker side. And then we've got the higher octave of it, which is regeneration and transformation and power in the higher sense, power used well. It can create, it can create negativity in us as well, as we push pull because we've got to understand our subconscious. And also, this is why looking at charts is very valuable to us, because if we begin to look at the other planets, for instance, like Chiron in our chart, and look where our hypersensitivity and wound was in childhood, then we can begin to draw from Pluto the unconscious, the subconscious. And when we look at our Mars, how we're, moving through this life, and our North Node. So it's very deep, beautiful work. It is a form of psychology. It's the oldest tool that we would have had as human beings. If we go back to the beginning of time, pre-speech, we would have been using symbolism. And basically, symbolism is still very active and alive today, whether it's money or, all sorts of things. And I'll show you why. I just brought up that money thing, which was quite interesting. So I'll tell you why. So in a moment. So if you look at here, I've got the 20th of September, 2020. And what I want to do from my list here is make sure I get this date right. So Pluto is currently at 23 degrees of Capricorn, 22, it's coming up to 23, it's retrograde and it'll go forward. So it's 22 there. And the last time it was in Capricorn at 23 degrees was in 1774. And then on April the 5th, 1777, Pluto entered Aquarius at 0 degrees. And then it went retrograde on April the 30th, 1777. So I want to show you this on this chart so you can see it. So Pluto in Aquarius, and we're going to go to 1777, let me make sure I've got the right there. Yeah. Okay. So this is 20th September, 1777. And what you can see here is that Pluto is in Capricorn at this point. So then what we'll do, I'm showing you so that you understand this, the difference of the chart. So this is the 20th September, 1777. And then it went retrograde. So let's look at the 5th of October. We're going to 1778 now. That's what we're doing, 1778. This is solar fire, by the way. So you know what I'm up to. Okay, so let's see where Pluto is. It's 29 degrees there, retrograde. So what we're going to do is move weeks ahead. And we're going to go, if you watch Pluto here, it's retrograde at this point. And it's retrograde. And here it's 0 degrees of Aquarius, and that was December the 27th, 1778. So these are some of the things, when Pluto entered Aquarius, this is some of the things that happened. There was basically New Orleans businessman Oliver Pollock created the dollar symbol. So that's huge. Think about that. The dollar symbol was created on April the 1st, 1778. On May the 1st, 1778, the American Revolution, the Battle of Crooked Billet, begins in Hawthborough, Pennsylvania. I can't say that. You'll have to help me there. I'm sure you know what I mean. So then, September the 17th, there was the first treaty between the US and the Indian tribes signed, and that was Fort Pitt. And then November the 26th, the British explorer Captain James Cook is the first European to visit Maui on Sandwich Islands, now called Hawaii. So you can see how, you know, that point of just the dollar sign alone speaks huge amounts to me that was created. I want to then come back to today's chart, and also what we would do actually, you know, with this chart, when that dollar was created, the dollar sign, we would be looking at other things as well. You know, what else was going on that day? You know, Pluto, the node was conjunct, the North Node was in Gemini, and it was conjunct Uranus. Now, very interesting to us right this today, you know, we've got the North Node is in Gemini for the next year at least. And then we would see that Jupiter and Neptune, so, you know, Jupiter and Neptune were conjunct, and Mars was squaring to Venus, and also looks like they're to Mercury. But Pluto, let's see if Pluto was doing anything. Pluto was doing a sesquare to North Node and Uranus. You might need deeper information on that to understand what I'm talking about, depending on how you understand astrology. So now I'm going to bring back up to date, and we're going to go 2020 here, and then we're going to go back weeks, because this is December 2020 I'm showing you. We're going to come back to September. So we got here the 20th of September. This is today's chart right now, and we've got the squares to Saturn, Pluto and Jupiter. We've got the square to Mercury, which is a bit difficult for our minds at the moment. We might be to-ing and throwing. We've got also the square to Mars. So we've got a lot of internal angle. We've got this retrograde going on. And we've also got the Uranus is opposing the moon right now. The moon is in Scorpio, and Uranus is in Taurus. And what, you know, this is a bit, you know, this is insight and past life trauma. There's emotion going on here, long-term memory as well. Venus is our needs. We've got an inconjunct these planets here. So to Saturn, Pluto and Jupiter. So, you know, this is to do with our needs. Venus is to do with our needs inside ourselves. And also the sun is in Virgo. It's going to be leaving Virgo in 3 days and moving into Libra. And Mercury is in Libra, and that will be going retrograde next month. I can't remember the exact date. So what I would tell you is that the Pluto in Capricorn, let's define this a bit more, just gently and slightly. And Pluto in Capricorn, which it has been since 2008 or 2007, I believe, it's where we're able to achieve personal transformation through evolution. And the sign generally, because it's ruled by, you know, in Capricorn, Pluto is the ruler is Saturn. So there's restriction, and this can hinder Pluto. And it's where we are forced to make considerable efforts to transform. So you can see what that's doing. And COVID has pushed that. It's like, you know, it's messed up our monetary system. We can't travel. We're in lockdown. We're restricted big time. That's what Pluto in Capricorn has done. And when it conjuncted all of these planets on the 12th of January 2020, we can see how that's played out in our lives. So it's also, we can get good at organization and beginning to get efficient. That's what we're having to do as well with regard to what's gone on. And it's where we're trying to sort out our personal ambitions, and we've got to work hard to achieve these results. Now, what's going to happen when this moves into Aquarius, I'm going to show you, I'm just going to go to 2024 because I know that it's way in at that point. So let's go here. It's in Capricorn there at 29 degrees on the 20th of September 2024. So let's go weeks ahead. Watch your Pluto, there it is. Let's see when it's 0 degrees. We're going to go back by days. 876, you can see there. There you go, 0 degrees. So this is the 20th of November, 2024, and we can see what's going on there. And basically Pluto in Aquarius, it's, you know, where we're longing for freedom. It's what that we can have eccentricity. It's where we get very inventive and we want our independence. And what, you know, it's very unusual times. It's about personal transformation, and it's also where we want, you know, freedom, and we will have the love of freedom, and we will also want our recognition and creativity, self-actualization in that respect. It's quite interesting actually, because Pluto is opposing, you know, the opposite sign at that point is Leo, you know, which is quite interesting, the polarity points we look at in evolutionary astrology. And then so also we will basically, it's about freedom. So, you know, it's where we'll be unconventional and eccentric, and also it can bring changes that can be really, you know, it could probably be a bit shocking to us, because also the ruler of Aquarius is Uranus. So we take it all into account, and then we look at the collective chart, and then we look at our own chart, and we begin to understand how that's playing out for us individually and collectively. But we are in for massive change, clearly. That's it for today. And if you want a chart reading with me, please book me. And any questions, you know, or any knowledge you've got on this, then you can put it below in the video. Thanks for watching.